Now that we're into February, this is Black History Month, and this is our opportunity to shine a light on the important things that have happened, especially specifically with the NFL. You know, there are a lot of firsts when it comes to Black history and the National Football League, and we want to take the time to shout some of that stuff out right now, if we could. So, Priest, I'm going to turn on the Wayback Machine here. Maybe we could take turns here because I made a huge list. I know you saw it and you're like, whoa, there's a lot of people, because there were a lot of firsts that were very important when it comes to the NFL. But look, they help pave the way to the league that we see today and help give the opportunity for players like yourself, Priest, to be able to reach that level and fulfill your dreams when it comes to playing in the NFL and winning a Super Bowl, right? So this is our opportunity here on the home stretch to shine a light on some Black history and the National Football League. Priest, look, a lot of barriers broken, starting with Kenny Washington of the Los Angeles Rams. He was a halfback and a DB, and he broke the NFL's color barrier in 1946, and he was hailed as a legend and a symbol in his own time. That coming from Martin Luther King Jr. himself,
Yes.
saying that. So when you look back at Black history and the National Football League, like what are the first thoughts that come to your mind, and you think about moments like that really aren't that long ago?
Yeah, you mentioned it, Mark. It's not that long ago, and I think that in terms of as a culture, and then also in terms of this particular month that we sit upon, it's really exciting to be able to pay homage and to be able to speak about some of the athletes and some of the players that definitely come before me. I know so many barriers and open doors were created for me to be able to be coming to this opportunity to play, obviously in the NFL. But one of the things also that I mentioned is that as we were going down that list, and it's a long list, obviously, of a number of players, and we'll continue to mention some of these names. But I was just very interested that some of them I can relate to as far as them being in that particular position as a running back. So the majority of these guys that I noticed, that as I look back in terms of who was getting an opportunity to really thrust themselves into the NFL and get an opportunity to break those barriers, the one position that really stood out is halfback, running back, fullback. And once it got to obviously quarterbacks, that was more even exciting, to be able to have that
Yeah.
opportunity for us to be represented in the NFL.
And you can see how much it's shine now in the league, right? There are so many wonderful, exceptional Black quarterbacks playing in the league now. Just recently, we had our first ever Super Bowl where two Black starting QBs started the game. I mean, it's surprising it took this long, but just last year, Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, and that's something wonderful to see. And I can't speak for you, but to be able to see yourself represented out there in that way is just very important. And I'm glad it's continuing to happen. And let's shout out some more of these names here. I'll go with Wally Triplett next. First African American draftee to play in the NFL. He played halfback. Here we go. Another running back, halfback there. He was picked by the Detroit Lions in the 19th round. 19th round. It's crazy they had that many rounds back then, but they did. 19th round of the 1949 draft. And as I mentioned, he played for the Detroit Lions and also the Chicago Cardinals. I don't remember the Chicago Cardinals. Do you, Priest?
No, I don't remember the Chicago Cardinals. And some of these names, I get a chance to go, back in time and get a chance to look at the schools, the colleges, and also
Yeah.
the NFL
Yeah.
teams, obviously in a different league and a different time and had different names. But I was pretty excited about that. And then just to carry on, as far as going to another player, we got Paul Tank Younger, right? First athlete from a
Yes.
historical Black college, an HBC university, to play in the NFL. Paul Tank Younger, fullback and linebacker, was the position that he played coming out of Grambling, and then played for the Los Angeles Rams 1949 through 1957, and then also had 1 year with the Pittsburgh in 1958. It's
That
amazing that some of the teams, how far back you can go back, and you can talk about these teams in terms of like how young so many players have been, in terms of looking at players that have played the game, wanting to be a professional football player. It goes back number of decades, and I'm excited that I had the opportunity to be a part of this fraternity, playing in the NFL. And now, as being a former player, I have an opportunity now to look back and help the younger players, and of course, give them any advice and allow them to misstep some of those landmines that that kind of await for players, once they get into the NFL, and especially on the financial end. That's one of the areas that a lot of players,
Mhm.
tend to get taken advantage of. But of course, our union has gotten stronger. There's more
Mhm.
opportunity and more resources for us to help younger guys that are in the league today, to allow them to have an amazing life and to provide for their families.
That's right, and we've had some great guests that attest to that and speak to that directly in previous episodes, which is really cool, including your former roommate, and put out a whole book about it too, right?
Yeah, well, the thing is, Mark, is that, not every guy has that same path in the NFL. Some guys come in as first rounders. You have other guys that miss the draft and they become a free agent. You have the
Right.
guy that's that last guy in the draft, the last round, the last guy, that's picked in the NFL during draft time. So it's so many different circumstances and ways that you can enter into the league. But the guys, they
Mhm.
have an opportunity, once they're done playing football, they can still be very important to their communities and very important,
Mhm.
obviously, to their families in terms of like, branching out and doing different things other than playing football. So I'm excited for the guys that take advantage of those opportunities and go back and get their degrees. They finish up in school. And then also some of the guys
Mhm.
that have aspirations in other fields. We've got NFL players that are doctors, that are nurses. We've
Yes.
had them in all
Yes.
fields, all work fields. And so that's pretty exciting to see.
And some that join the military, and serve the country that way as well. Huge shout out to all those players. And I'm going to take this opportunity to remind everybody: Priest Holmes, legendary running back, undrafted. Let's
That's right,
go.
that's
Let's
right. Yeah,
go.
so, we
You
talk
take
about
that
that being path.
opportunity.
I came
Yeah.
up a different way in the NFL, and
Yeah.
so in terms of like my rookie season, when I look, Mark, my rookie season, all of the draftees and any of the guys that came through free agency, we actually lived all in the same apartment complex. And so I remember
Okay.
that particular time in 1997 where you had guys pulling up with all types of vehicles, the best vehicles off the car lot, and so you're trying to realize, like, hold on, like, I know we're on the same team, and I know we got to go
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
practice the same way, but there's some things that are slightly different, between some of the guys that were picked very high
Did I just
in the
ride?
draft.
Did I just ride a bike here? Did I
Yes.
just ride a bike? Did I just come in on a skateboard?
Yeah.
What's happening
Not only
right
the
now?
skateboard,
Yeah.
did I just catch a ride? Let me catch a
Yeah.
ride
Oh,
to work.
that. Yeah. That too. That too. All right. Let's shout out some more names here, Priest. You hit this next one. This name is awesome, man, and it's fitting for the position they played.
Yeah, well, let's talk about this, man. It's Willie Thrower. What a name, and you just have to imagine,
Willie
yes,
Thrower.
yes, what position, obviously, would Willie Thrower be playing, right? He's the first African American quarterback in the NFL. And so Willie Thrower, Michigan State. Oh, he's a Spartan. So obviously, man, I think that Kenneth Walker the third, I think they've got definitely something
Yes.
in common, right? It's go green for those guys, but he played for the
Yep.
Chicago Bears in 1953. So exciting last name also, and very fitting for a quarterback.
That's right. All right. Next, I'm going to shout out Burl Toller. He's the first African American official. And Burt Toller went to the San Francisco University, and he was a field judge and a head linesman from 1965 to 1989. So shout out to Burl Toller breaking the barrier there for the referees.
Well,
Next.
there's so many names, and so we're not going to be able to get to all of them. But I'm kind of skipping down, and I'm going back to another quarterback that's kind of further
Okay.
down on our list, and that's Doug Williams, right? First African American
Nice.
starting quarterback in a Super Bowl, and Doug Williams. Washington Redskins. We all know they went to the Super Bowl, and we also know that what occurred for him as a player and as a quarterback, and obviously as a African American starting at quarterback, and getting that win. So pretty excited for Doug Williams, pretty exciting, man.
I distinctly remember that. I was, let's see, what year was it? Was that
I
89,
think they're
86,
86
86, 86?
or 87,
So I think I was like,
87.
I was 8 years old. I distinctly remember that. And he was great, man. And he threw to Art Monk, if I remember correctly, back then. I used to love Art Monk. In fact, when we were playing on the playground in grade school, I used to pretend I was Art Monk. I was like, I want to be Art Monk, man. This guy's awesome. And so I always slotted out as a receiver, and I wanted to run out there and catch the ball. That was the position I always wanted to play.
Breaking news from Bet365. New customers bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. Sign up, place a bet for $5 and get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, player props, futures, and so much more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Hey, do you have a gambling problem? Call or text 1-800-GAMBLER in Arizona, Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maryland, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Virginia. Or 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa. 21 plus only, 18 plus in Kentucky. Please gamble responsibly. Must be present in Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, and select parishes in Louisiana, Maryland, North Carolina, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Virginia. $10 minimum deposit required. Terms and conditions apply. In-app only.
This has been a Playmaker production.